And welcome to another edition of Luc's Box Office right here on CUTV. I'm your host, Luc, and as usual, we have a great show for you. Lee Boyle is here, and as you remember, last week he was supposed to do a review of Mary Riley, but he didn't show up. So he felt so bad about it that this show, he decided to do a review of like 5 movies to compensate. So, cool. And later I'll be here with a review of Superman 2, so stay around, you'll have a lot of fun. But first, here is Lee Boyle.
Hi, welcome to Lee Boyle's movie review on Luc's Box Office. You may wonder where I've been all this time since I missed my last movie review. Well, I was taking Jean Cotin to court for assaulting me in the crowd, but I won't get into that detail. My lawyer said not to. Okay, let's get down to business. This week, Broken Arrow. I gotta say about Broken Arrow, it's the best goddamn action movie since Die Hard. This is the action-packed suspense adventure movie of the 90s so far, since Die Hard was in the 80s. The movie's success owes all to John Woo's directing, and unlike some people think, Graham Yost, the writer of Speed, screenplay. Also, the movie withholds great music, and of course, stellar performances by Christian Slater and the king of the 90s, John Travolta. I give this movie 750. You may wonder why my movie reviews are like short this week, but I'm trying to catch up on all the scenes, so I'm doing a plentiful variety of movies, all shortened. All this for your viewing satisfaction. Okay, next let's move on to another action extravaganza, Rumble in the Bronx. The biggest action star in the world is called Jackie Chan. Well, as some people know, I guess, like, because I guess Asia is like Asia and like Europe and like, it's like it holds a lot of people. So he's not really that popular here, but he is now beginning to be with Rumble in the Bronx. A movie by director Stanley Tong. I have mixed feelings about those movies. I really love the action parts, but the rest of the movie is pure crap. I was like, why the fuck see this movie, But I must say, when the action starts, you're like, wow. So I guess I have to split this up and give this movie only $4, but if you're a big action fan, don't miss out on it. Okay, let's continue here. Okay, now that we've dealt with like plotless, action, mindless movies, let's deal with a crime drama that actually has plot. Not saying that Broken Arrow didn't, because Broken Arrow is still a damn good movie, but let's move on to a movie I saw called Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Okay, this is the crime drama of the year, well, along with Heat, of course. It has the best assembled cast, for sure. Andy Garcia, Christopher Walken, Treat Williams, Christopher Lloyd, William Forsythe, Steve Buscemi, Gabrielle Anwar, beautiful than ever, Fairuza Balk, and Jack Warden. Okay, this is a powerfully twisted, passionate story. It's predictable sometimes, but it's done in a pleasant way that you don't really mind. It's one of the most stylish films I've seen. It's a noir. It's a film noir, I guess you could call it. It's a story about Garcia plays Jimmy the Saint, and all his gang is retired, and they're all asked to do one last heist, and it goes terribly wrong. And Christopher Walken, as the guy called the man with the plan, the bad boss, the big bad boss, goes out to kill them all with a hired hitman, Steve Buscemi, in a wicked performance. One of the stars of the show is Treat Williams, who gives knockout performances as a critical bill. Okay, this is one of the best endings of any movie I've seen in years. I'm speechless. I give this movie $7. It's worth it. Go see it. Let's move on to a movie I less like, Mary Riley, directed by Stephen Frears. This movie has a good atmosphere, That's probably the one good thing about it. Oh, the other good thing is John Malkovich. The problem is Julia Roberts never holds up to John Malkovich. She's not nearly as as talented as he'll ever be, okay? That's like the problem. The movie, it just could have been much better, and that's why I'm only giving it $3. And let's just say that $3, it goes out only because of John Malkovich's wicked performance. Although this performance is still damn good, it doesn't hold up to his other performances in movies like In the Line of Fire or Dangerous Liaisons. My last movie I'd like to review is called The Birdcage by Mike Nichols, and this is the best comedy of the year, okay? Well, along with Four Rooms, I guess. I guess this goes up to one great cast. The movie is based on La Cage aux Folles, a 1978 French movie with Michel Serrault and Ugo Tuguzani. The great cast is leaded by Robin Williams and Gene Hackman, and also Diane Wiest, but Nathan Lane as Robin Williams' partner in life steals the show, along with Hank Azaria, who supplies many of the voices on The Simpsons. Those two characters steal the show. They're like knockout performances for sure. Hank Azaria plays the Guatemalan maid, and he is hilarious. This is great art direction, and the movie has this great location. It's so exotic, and the whole nightclub scene is spectacular, and a great script provided by Elaine May. I give this movie $7. It's definitely worth it. Okay, now time for Lee's so far 1996 top 5 movies. Okay, well, I'm lying here. It's actually top 6 movies because we have a tie. Tie for number 5 is The Birdcage, along with Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Number 4 is Four Rooms. Ha 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 ha. Number 3, Broken Arrow. Number 2, Heat. And number 1, From Dusk Till Dawn. Okay, I thought I'd end this also with my Oscar prediction, since our beloved Oscars are coming up. Okay, the movies nominated, I already eliminate Babe and Il Postino, and that leaves Apollo 13, Sense and Sensibility, and Braveheart. And my Sense and Sensibility would be to pick Braveheart. Fuck Apollo 13. Okay, of course, Best Director Mel Gibson. That's Best Actor Nicolas Cage. That's like a shoe-in. Best Actress Suzanne Sarandon. And for sure, Best Supporting Actor Kevin Spacey. If he doesn't win, I'm not watching it anymore. And also, for Best Supporting Actress, though, I haven't seen many of the films these actresses were in, but the big hype is on Myra Sorvino, but I still think Kate Winslet might have a chance. So, well, that's it for Lee Boyle's movie reviews, top 5, or top 6, and Oscar predictions.
You recognize that? Yeah. That's the theme to Pulp Fiction, one of the greatest films of 1994. And with a review of that as a new release video is Lee Boyle.
I love Montreal. Okay, we have here a new segment on Luc's box office. It's called On Sale Now. This goes out for the movie on sale now is Pulp Fiction. As you know, the big box office extravaganza is now on sale in Videocassette. It was released in video last October and video rentals, movie clubs, and movie stores, but now you can buy it. Okay, let's sum up Tarantino's genius, okay? Well, I don't know. I think he's just saying, in a way, f Hollywood, you know? I don't know. So, because his movie is like a low-budget extravaganza. It does everything that big-budget movies can't do sometimes, or like, in my opinion, most of the times. That's the beauty of his work. His movies are low-budget, okay? So, I can't tell you about the plot of the story, but like, I don't know, I don't want to like spoil any surprises, or I want you to like, for those who haven't seen it, I want you to go discover it yourself, you know, discover the characters. I don't want to say anything about it. So, I don't know, it's just, this movie is definitely an unconventional, comic, tragic gem, you know, like, you won't, it's impossible to sum up this movie, because it's like the virtue of unconventionality or something, I don't know. Okay. But of course this movie has the greatest cast. Of course, Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Christopher Walken, Bruce Willis, Harvey Keitel. I could go on, you know. It's probably, I think it's the greatest cast ever put together in a movie. That's my opinion. Okay, it has the greatest script. This is probably the greatest script. Like, I don't know. I think it's the greatest script I've ever seen written for a movie. It's just, the script steals the show. Like, the lines that are written are timeless. Okay. Of course, this intertwines with this great unconventional plot I was telling you about, and that I want you to discover for yourself. The whole string of events, you know, twisted, crazy, but brilliant, to say the least, ever presented in a motion picture. So go buy it now if you want it. It's like at HMV, it's like $13.99, and I heard there's even a special collector's edition out with like never seen before footage. So I don't know. This is the best movie so far of the 1990s by far. I don't think. The only other movie I like as much, I think, is On the Line of Fire, and maybe Now From Dusk Till Dawn, which is also written by Quentin Tarantino. Nevertheless, saying that Reservoir Dogs was also good. You know, he also wrote it, but I don't like it as much as Pulp Fiction. Okay. Buy this movie and treasure it forever, because it's going to be remembered for a long time. And I'd like to say that this movie is, in the words of Quentin Tarantino, well, not in the words he transposed in the script, this movie is a shot of adrenaline to the heart, and I think I'm gonna cry. Well, that's it for On Sale Now, a new segment on Luc's Box Office, so see you later.
Great, Lee. And now here is a clip from an upcoming movie.
Sail the seven seas. on the TV. They want you. Oh my goodness. They want you. What am I gonna do with that? They in a submarine. You. Now they don't want me. They want you. They want you. In the Navy. Sail the seven seas. In the Navy. Get your mind at ease. In the Navy. Pull and make a stand. In the Navy. Can't you see we need a hand? In the Navy. Come on, protect the motherland. In the Navy. Come on and join your fellow man. In the Navy. Come on, people, and make a stand. In the Navy. In the Navy.
Yes, Superman 2, a really, really good movie. If you enjoyed the first one the way I did, no doubt you will also enjoy the second one. Superman 2 is a good movie, and it is also the subject of this week's Rent It, Why Don't You? Okay, so after the success of Superman 1, a lot of people thought that it would be impossible to make it again, to do it again, to make another Superman movie that would have the same success as its predecessor. Because Superman 1 was just that good. It was a really, really fine movie. So when it came time to do the second one, a lot of people said, well, you know. But they were wrong, because Superman 2 became an even bigger success than its predecessor. And the reason for this is very, very simple. Not only does Superman 2 have more action that people like and has a better love story than Superman 1 does, but Superman 1 and 2 were written as one story and were later, you know, broken up into two movies, because if you would have made like Superman 1 and 2 into one movie, it would have been like a 5-hour movie, and not a lot of people would want to go see a 5-hour movie. So that is why they broke it into two movies. So it is natural to think that if the first movie was good, then the second one would be just as good. What makes it even better is, of course, the action and the love story. Now this also helps to explain all those loose ends that were not tied up during Superman. The most important one is this scene here. The first scene in Superman where Jor-El, Superman's father, sends these three villains to this galactic prison called the Phantom Zone. Now there is no reason to have this scene in this movie, because you never hear from these villains again during that movie. The reason why this was in that movie is that in Superman 2, these villains escape from this prison, land on Earth, and kick the hell out of Superman. That is why this movie, this scene was put into that movie. So, there you go. So that's what happened. They land on Earth, they totally ravage this little town called Western Idaho. Then they go to the White House, and they take the president hostage, and then, you know, threaten to rule the world, because these villains being on Earth have the same powers that Superman does. So if you ever ask yourself what would happen if some villain would have the same powers as Superman, well, here you find out. At the same time, Superman has fallen in love with Lois Lane, and he's off to his Fortress of Solitude in the North Pole, and he's completely disconnected with the rest of the world, and he doesn't know what's going on. So, so that's what happened. So to know what happens after that, you have to watch the movie. So, besides that, as far as the cast is concerned, a lot of the original cast is back. Like Christopher Reeve is back as Superman and Clark Kent. Lois Lane is again played by Margot Kidder. Gene Hackman is back as as Lex Luthor, along with Ned Beatty as his counterpart, Otis, and Valerie Perrin as Miss Tessmucker. Also, Susanna York is back as Superman's mother, and Jackie Cooper, and all these other people that you've seen from the first movie are all back. And again, if you look closely, I told you last semester when I did Superman 1, that there was this cameo by John Ratzenberger. Well, if you look again closely to this movie, you'll see him again in another role, so look for that. Superman 2 is a really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I've seen it like 50 times. You should see it at least once. I give it about $7, so rent it. Why don't you? Okay? So, here is a clip.
Son of Jor-El. We were beginning to think you were a coward. I'm not a coward, Zod.
Let him prove it.
Possibly not. It is extremely likely you are merely a fool. Like father. Like son. Somehow I just can't hear you, Zod. As you deserve to.
Man, this is going to be good.
Take him. He's yours. Come on, kill him.
The big one's just as strong as Superman.
That's the end of this show. This was our fourth show, ladies and gentlemen, meaning that there's only one left. Meaning that it's almost the end of the semester. After this last show, we'll have like a week left of school. Then we all go on vacation and forget that school exists. And personally, I can't wait because this semester has been just, really, and I just want to, so, okay. Now, but until next time, okay, the office is getting renovated, so we'll be like on the corner of St. Catherine and the Maisonneuve, Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense, but who cares? Okay, so we'll see you there. See you.